All right. Joining me right now is UFC welterweight Alex Morono. Alex, in less than a month, I'm speaking with you again, and you're heading into the biggest opportunity of your career. How are you feeling?
Man, yeah, dude, biggest opportunity, best fight card by far. Feeling good, So I had my Reese fight. I took my 2 weeks off over Thanksgiving, ate some good food, healed up. And it was funny. On Monday, I was like, all right, back on the fight camp diet, back on the grind. I did like a really heavy kettlebell workout, so my legs were trashed for like a week. But on Tuesday, I catch word that they offered me that Pettis fight. I accept it. My weight is low. And then, last week I was training hard. And kind of over the weekend, I shook off all the soreness. I kind of acclimated to the difference in diet change yet again. And man, today I hit some hard grappling rounds, another strength and conditioning session, and I just did some pretty hard sparring MMA style. Man, I'm feeling good right now. I almost kind of prefer a 2 week fight prep after already having been prepared. It's not super taxing on the body. Man, I can go another 3 5s, even harder than the last one. Man, I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Now, with this situation, this matchup kind of came out of nowhere because it didn't seem like Anthony Pettis was going to fight this year, and you had just fought, so a lot of people were like surprised by it. And when you found out about the fight, I heard that they announced it before you even told anybody.
Yes, man. Yeah, it was crazy. So it was as random and surprising to me. So I agree with all the fans in terms of it being kind of like a random weird matchup, but I love every minute of it. But yeah, I get wind of the fight, accept the fight around like 5:30, and before 6 o'clock, it's already posted. Man, I'm not too sure who posts the fight news. I think it may have been Pettis because I know if I'm not mistaken, and I could certainly be mistaken, Anthony Pettis has been in Vegas and he told the UFC he wanted to fight, and the UFC knows I'm looking to fight again, and I've always been very verbal on being thankful and grateful for the opportunities, and I hope they heard that and they know that, and they kind of threw me a bone with this matchup. And man, this dude's high level, high ranked. It's freaking Anthony Pettis. There's no way I would have said no. I could have been 195 pounds and found a way to make weight and get this fight going. But thankfully, I wasn't that heavy, and I'm still in good shape, and I have no injuries. And man, yeah, it really is best case scenario.
I know you had one fight left on your current deal, so is this part of maybe a new contract that you're going to sign, or have you signed a new contract with this fight?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not too sure how much detail I should go into. Not that it matters, but yeah, I will be signing a new contract for this contracted fight, and it's awesome. And we didn't even ask for a set number. The UFC offered what we were going to ask for, so there was no
Wow.
negotiating. It just goes to show they're like willing to play ball, and again, I'm very happy with the pay and super happy with the opportunity. And like this fight is a big fight, and it's not like the only big fight on like a random card. It's one of many dynamite fight matchups on an awesome fight card that my teammate is headlining. I mean, again, I can't stress how awesome this whole situation is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Anthony Pettis, we know him, former champ, WEC champ, and UFC champ, future Hall of Famer. So it's not, a fight that anybody would ever pass up in this division. But when you look at him, look at his recent, I guess, run in the welterweight division. What is your assessment?
He's fought nothing but tough dudes. I was really rooting for him when he fought Chiesa. It was cool seeing him beat Chiesa. Man, if I'm not mistaken, I think he may have lost a fight after that, and then had the Wonder Boy fight. Wonder Boy gave him that a lot of that kickboxing range to do his thing, and it didn't work out for him. And then he fought Nate and lost kind of bad. Then he fought my boy CDF and just got ground out. And then he fought Cerrone and looked all right. That Cerrone fight was a good fight. I honestly had Cerrone winning that fight, but that was a fun one. And I just think our styles make for a fun fight. And I'm happy the UFC thought of me, and I'm happy he accepted the fight. And man, this is just such an opportunity to make a statement, and just like such an honor for me to be in the same realm as these guys. And I very much so. I don't take a fight without planning on winning it. So with a win over Pettis, it just really opens the floodgates for all the higher level guys to fight. And I'm really excited to see what opportunities come out of this fight.
Your last fight afterwards in the post fight press conference, you're still wearing your gloves, and you mentioned that your hands were still sore from punching the guy so many times. How long did it take for you to get your hands back to normal?
A couple of weeks. So like on Monday I hit mitts and I was able to crack, but like I still kind of felt it, but nothing crazy, man. Like it was really like my front knuckles. The knuckles that aren't covered by the gloves, those were just bruised. And like that was really the extent of it. And like right now, like they're 100%, like 99%. So no, hand feels good. And it's nice. I can't complain coming out of a 3-round banger and only having some bruised clubs. Like my elbow was a little bruised, my knee was a little bruised, and my knuckles were a little bruised. And it's all healed up now. And I can't ask for anything more than that, really.
Do you think that they should change the gloves, the UFC gloves? A lot of people complain about those gloves.
I have been poked in the eye pretty bad once before, and like for whatever reason, I keep my fists in the fight like balled up, ready to punch. Yeah, if there was a better design, sure. I think there are better designs out there, but I don't know. I don't really have any immediate complaints, so I'm impartial. I really don't care. I'm just happy to be in the UFC.
When you spar, do you wear the actual UFC gloves so your hands are used to it?
Well, yeah, when I grapple with them in Nogi almost exclusively, so I have some chokes that I can actually grab onto my own gloves. When I do MMA sparring, I usually wear like the rounded MMA gloves, but I'll tell you, I primarily spar with 16-ounce gloves. It's just you can like get the ground and pound and the clinch punches going a lot more realistically with those big gloves without really beating your partner up. So no, it's funny. I've actually become quite the formidable grappler in 16-ounce gloves. Like I can defend chokes and lock up guillotines or naked chokes in those big gloves all day long. But it's a pretty even mix. But no, I don't do a lot of like hard contact sparring in the little gloves, only because you're like asking to get cut open or get a black eye or something. So I mean, I wear them where they're necessary.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. In the grappling, you do really need to wear those gloves, but punching wise, probably not so much.
No, and then sometimes I'll hit mitts with them, but again, same thing. It will tax your hands out a bit more. So like I'll do like smaller focus mitts and like more just accurate technical striking with them, just so I can really get the range down. But range has generally been a strong suit of mine. And when you do switch up the gloves, it does make a difference. I also do a lot of drilling. Like if I have a kickboxing class, I'll have my friend or my partner and myself wear the little MMA gloves. But then when we spar, we'll usually put on the big gloves.
So your teammate and fellow welterweight Jeff Neal, he's headlining the show, and I'm pretty sure you and him were both in training camp together, even for your last fight. So you're just riding this wave and this momentum with him. Is that what the situation is like right now?
Yeah, man. It was very situational. I kind of feel bad because I wasn't with him for like the final 3 weeks of his fight camp, and it's because I had just fought and I was naturally healing up. But so like for the thick of my fight camp, he was there with me. And then for the beginning stages of his fight camp, I was there for him. And then I'll be back in Dallas, all of this week. I'm getting there tomorrow, and I'll be in there for like the last part of my fight camp. So like we'll be doing like a lot of like the technical, kind of like finishing work with each other. But yeah, man, he's been tremendously helpful, and he's got a very specific style in Wonder Boy to prepare for. It's very unorthodox. You kind of have to like, Wonder Boy fights really only like Wonder Boy. And so he's been doing more Wonder Boy style work. Whereas, Pettis is a flashy kickboxer, but, he'll clinch and he'll grapple and stuff. So, my training partners were like a little more fruitful. Plus, I really only had 2 weeks to prepare specifically. So, I've been making sure to go with like an equal amount of southpaws as I do orthodox fighters, because Pettis does like to switch it up. And I'm never short on grappling partners either. I'm in a jiu-jitsu gym. So, man, the training's been good and hard, and I'm in good shape, and I feel like I'm almost peaking right now, which is nice because I only got one more week of hard work. Dude, this is a good scenario. I'm coming in sharp and in very good shape.
Another one of your teammates, Diego Ferreira, he defeated Anthony Pettis not too long ago. Actually, earlier this year.
Yeah,
have you talked to him about the matchup?
Yeah. I've talked with him. I've talked with Coach Safe especially, and it's nice because Safe has to, take Carlos's style and use it to beat Pettis, and he's got to take my style. And we are very different fighters, but thankfully he's already done a lot of studying on Pettis, so we have some cool, fun tricks, some things to look out for to really try to implement, which will be cool. But again, man, I'm really excited to test my mettle as a kickboxer against one of the best kickboxers in the UFC. It's just such a, I hate saying this word so much, but it really is such an honor, man. I'm happy to be there. We're on the main card. This is my first time being on a main card in the UFC. And again, such a guy I've looked up to and have just been a fan of to watch. Every time Pettis fights, I've always made sure to watch because because it's always been a banger. Like when he fought Wonder Boy, I was rooting for Wonder Boy in that fight because I like Wonder Boy. When he fought Carlos Diego Fiera, I was rooting for my boy CDF. But like when he fought Chiesa, I was rooting for Pettis. It's just cool, man. It's cool to be in this realm.
There seems to be two sides of Pettis. You know, if you look at his losses, they've all basically been, you know, turned into dog fights. Do you think that's the key to defeating him?
Yeah, every one of my fights is going to be a dog fight. You know, my last fight, I think I threw like 400 strikes and landed like 200 of them. And it's funny, in that last fight against Reese, granted, nothing landed super flush, but I actually got hit more in that fight than any other fight before. I think he landed like 130 punches and kicks. And after reading the stats, I was like, damn, I don't feel like I got hit that many times. But it was cool. It just kind of shows the activity rate. But I mean, yeah, I don't expect any of my fights ever to be easy. And if anyone who's fighting me expects it to be an easy fight, they're going to have a very rude awakening. You know, I make sure to plan my grappling, my wrestling, my striking, my cardio accordingly. If it's up to me, I choose to strike as long as possible, which there's a good chance that'll happen in this fight. But I mean, yeah, this will certainly be a dog fight. And like, I don't like when fighters be like, oh, this is going to be fight of the night. I'm looking for a performance bonus. I'm looking for a finish. And if while trying to get the finish, we go the 3 rounds and we get fight of the night, so be it. But again, my goal, I got 15 minutes to do as much damage as possible, and I'm going to do me some damage.
Yeah, it seems like a perfect storm for you, you know what I mean? And you do go in there with the honor and respect for Pettis and what he has accomplished. How do you separate that, though? Like, you know, sometimes guys are not able to separate that, and then when they step in, they don't perform the way that they want to.
Yeah, you know what? Thankfully, you know, I was never the best athlete, but I always had a good mind for fighting. Not only the psychological, like well-being and mindset in the fight, but also like I've always prepared. You know, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and MMA alike, pro and amateur. I've probably had like 40 or 50 fight camps, and I've never once, not one time, ill-prepared or under-prepared. Even this fight, I got 3 weeks notice. Like I got word Tuesday in the evening that I was training. Like I taught an adult jiu-jitsu class at that evening. I popped my gi top off. I did like 45 minutes of hard no gi rounds, and then I got 2 of my other MMA guys. I was like, hey, let's do an MMA conditioning circuit. So we did like a wrestling drill, like some ground and pound drills, and then some striking work on the bags, like a 5-minute circular rotation drill that night. And then Wednesday, man, I was in camp working hard. So the over preparation has always helped a lot. And then going back to the real root of your question, I've never been one to like get starstruck or freeze up in a fight. If anything, I enjoy the hardship. I like look for the hardship. And my coach is like, Morono, with you, I never have to worry about you freezing up in a fight or getting scared or quitting. He's like, I got to make sure you make the right technical decisions. But you know, I got a mind. I have an attitude. I have like the spirit for combat, and especially listening to the music I listen to, mostly blasting. I'm on a Marth, you know, leading up into a fight. Like all I hear is like death or victory, and like going to a fight knowing you're gonna die and giving it your all, and it just really prepares and excites me for these fights.
Will Matthew be in your corner again?
Yeah, I got the same corner I had for the Reese McKee fight. Of course, Coach Safe is our general and commander, and then my longtime best friend and striking coach Matt Wald. He'll be in the mix, and then my up and coming fighter buddy Jake Heffernan. He's like my warm up partner, my one of my main trainer partners. He's a 7-2 as a pro, and he'll be in there to help me warm up and get prepped. And you know, they're opening up the local scene, and I actually have a pretty good game plan for him to kind of get back on the scene. Man, I was actually on a hunting trip with Matt and Jake. And Jake accidentally got shot. Like, I'll save you the details, but with a 45, a Colt 45, like old school revolver. Honestly, having an old revolver out with us was the issue because the gun, it wasn't like hammer backed ready, but the gun still fired after falling just because it was there. And he got tagged in the arm. And thankfully, you know, he survived. His arms are almost 100%. It's only been like 4 months, and he'll actually be fighting again pretty soon. So I'm going to get him we'll get him a couple of fights, ideally a couple wins, and hopefully he'll be on the UFC roster with me in about a year.
Definitely, man. Wow, that's a pretty insane story. Just the gun dropped to the floor, to the ground, and just went off.
We were actually in the back of a truck collecting the hogs that we had shot, and we had hit some really nasty terrain, and like we were starting to bump really crazy, and a gun had fallen out of a holster, an old gun out of an old holster. You know, have modern equipment when hunting. That's the good lesson we learned. But it like hit the bed of the truck and started like clanking around, and then just it fired out of nowhere. It was crazy. And yeah, it ended up hitting somebody. Dude, it was nuts. It's a story for another day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's the perfect way to end 2020 for you, man, in this fight?
Man, just getting a win. Like getting a finish is great, but getting a win over Pettis would be just the best. That's my goal. That's what I'm working every day so hard to do. And then I have some really cool, news for my teammates and my people at the gym to finish this year out strong. And then I would really like to fight again in April when the Venom deal kicks off, because I'm a big Venom fan. I've had a wholesale order with that company forever because like we stock Venom products at my gym. Before I was in the UFC, I had some really cool America Venom shorts that I fought in, and I was happy. I was one of the I don't know. It seems like a lot of people were happy with the deal, but I was one of the few guys who was like pretty stoked for the Venom deal to go in with the UFC. And hey, Venom reps, UFC reps, if you guys are looking for an athlete who likes to rep some Venom gear, man, I'm your man.
Well, that's gonna be cool to have your name on the Venom gear, like you've been a fan of the brand, so I'm excited to see what they have in store. I'm pretty sure they're gonna flip the script and they're gonna bring something new for the UFC fighters.
Oh yeah. Plus, man, I'm a martial arts enthusiast. I've used like every brand of gear there is. I've been doing this for 15 years. I live and die by those Venom shin guards. Venom makes the best shin guards by far for combat sports. So I have 4 pairs of them that I rotate out downstairs. And it's funny, like no matter the state of my gear, after every fight, I buy a whole new crop of gear. It's really the only thing I spend money on. And so I always have like nice, fresh gear that I train with. Venom being the main culprit, mostly for the shin guards and shorts. I do like ringside gloves for gloves.
Definitely. Well, December 19th, man, UFC Fight Night, Anthony Pettis, main card. You get this win, it opens the floodgates to so many opportunities, so many crazy matchups, and hey, it's all part of the plan, right? For this MMA, you guys are killing it.
Hey, that's right, man. Yeah, man, it's cool. My boy Jeff Neal headlining the card as well. Ryan Spann was supposed to fight Misha Serkinov, but if I'm not mistaken, Serkinov pulled out with an injury, so that stinks. But again, I still got one of my other Florida boys on the card. That'll be a lot of fun.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you fling.